Dear Nomi, I don't know any other way to try to contact you. My phone never receives phone calls. I never get emails except as part of some corporate paradigm that never ever responds directly to me. They have me on mailing lists. They'll even send me offers for passes to conferences and solicitations to have personal phone calls with executives. And when I respond, not one person ever responds directly to me. Other people use my electronic accounts for their lives. Other people take my email and they take the work I do on my computer and they use it for themselves. I did at one point get through to you on a phone call. You told me you were working on a new play. I told you I was concerned because I saw evidence of your identity that had been stolen and exported to another country. Not only that, but so too had my identity been stolen and exported to another country. And it was the same country, or rather, it wasn't, because the person in that country did not respect the imposition of somebody else's national paradigm on him and his people. He was murdered. He was murdered in a situation where a real time proxy in the town where I am effectuated the financing of his murder after they evicted me from a coffee shop because I was speaking too loudly and I did not fit the racial demographic profile that they wanted for someone who spoke at that volume. For years, they've been simulating that I'm a Syrian engineer in the gas and oil sector. Except there's problems with acknowledging the actual regime. Apparently, yesterday, the president, or within the last month, there's been approval of a DoD contractor or some former military contractor to do his own little personal oil baron warlord experiment in the Kurdish areas. This is exactly what they did with Kuwait before they murdered a million children to starvation and aided and abetted a narco empire that's infiltrated our government, destroyed our lives, and redistributed our thoughts and even genetic materials to other countries to make cybernetically enhanced replicas of our lives that were more commercially viable. Yesterday, apparently, there was an interview with the president of Mexico. Do you remember when I was in your house? Do you remember how much I hated pictures? I never wanted to be on video. I didn't like pictures. It was this old fashioned, superstitious part of me that was remembering something that had been told to me about how when they take a picture of you, they take a part of your soul. That's not necessarily a bad thing. But in this age of rampant exploitation with no regard for what it does to the soul in the next life, now the only way I can potentially communicate with anybody is to make these videos. I keep desperately trying to get someone to take seriously the fact that I was kidnapped and tortured and forced to watch people be murdered over and over again for somebody else's competitive sporting event while I was cut off from any human contact. So called politicians and leaders of all kinds of movements that want to say they have all kinds of people's interests in mind end up taking the stolen parts of my identity that's been cheaply refabricated and redistributed for poor implementation. I don't know why I'm reaching out to you specifically. I love you. You remember when we were in your room that day? You had those buttons on your table. You said a prayer. I'm sorry that that name is not on that button. My battle apparently was different than yours. I don't want you to be my enemy, but if you or any of your artist friends agreed to get on Social Security so that you could be put into a situation where you could be biologically harvested and that you could use sex to pay your rent or to pay for your health care or your travel, if you agreed to let them torture me and murder people around the world as part of some leveraging scheme, I cannot support you. But I, to this day, do not believe that's who you are. I believe charlatans in our government kidnapped you, just like I'm kidnapped, by someone claiming they have a deal. And I believe, unfortunately, we're going to have to watch them reap what they've sowed. And I'm just hoping you don't let them do it to you in your body.